was probably a pretty obvious answer, the decision to go with Hayden for the 12th man and for continuing that tradition with the new coaching staff too?
Yeah, it's, 12th man here, you can talk for days on the importance of it and how special it is. And you want someone that embodies and wants to be here and loves the university and does all those things. And Hayden shot is that as much as any player I've ever coached, as far as team first, team last type of mentality, and someone that plays really hard, super competitive, and loves A&M. So it's just a combination of things, and it was a really easy decision. We didn't do a big drawn out thing. Like, he was, as soon as I got the job, he was number 12, and we just kind of, and I talked to guys on the team, and first answer was him, and I talked to the guys that I trust and the guys that should be a part of that decision, and extremely easy decision.
So it's a pretty low-key conversation. Did he kind of assume it, or?
No, he didn't at all. I think he was kind of taken aback. He's just not that type of guy. So it was, it was great. We didn't want to, so a little bit different way of doing stuff. And I'm not saying that's going to be year to year, but just for this year, I just thought it was appropriate to year 12. Let's get going on with it. I want you to know from the beginning. And I think he might have leaked it out a couple times with things he was wearing and his glove. But other than that, man, he's an awesome guy and he deserves it.
Coach, I know you had the fall, but how's the first week and a half been like for you as you prepare for your first year as a head coach?
It's been good. Just really trying to not try to do too much at once, and we can still say we have time. There will be a point in time where you can't say that, but just easing guys back into it and just that slow build and really just kind of keeping them from trying to do too much. It's been just awesome to be back around them, and we've had to battle some weather, but we've done a good job with it. We've been fluid, and they've been great about it.
Michael, you guys have been preseason #1 for baseball. Perfect game and D1 baseball. Just curious how you guys are kind of handling the expectations of coming in the season, preseason #1.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because it means people think you got good players, but it doesn't really mean anything more than that. And the guys understand that you can, 1 or 100, you still got to go out and play well. So it's not really, not something we talk about. We just kind of go about our business and just understand whether we were 1, 2, 3, 17, 19, being Texas A&M and having the season we had last year and the players we have on the team this year, we got a target on our back no matter what the ranking is, and just playing with that edge and, don't let someone take what's yours is kind of our mentality.
Coach, obviously balancing expectations like he said, but establishing a new program and a new culture, like how do you kind of tiptoe between that?
I want to say, there's not a lot of, there's some change here, but not a ton, right? It's just a different voice running it, and this program was ran very well for the last, few years, and then even the coach before that. So it's just kind of carrying on and making it a player-led program and more coach-fed. So it's expectations are what you sign up for when you're here, whether you're a coach or a player. If you want to play at one of the best programs, and what I personally think is the best program, expectations aren't going away. So just kind of making it a part of it, and they're not really expectations for us. It's just playing to our standard, and our standard is being the very best we are, or we can be every time we step on the baseball field.
As you look back at kind of how you've gotten to this point in your coaching journey, just at what point did you realize you wanted to get into coaching baseball, and just how did it transpire when you got the role at Arizona State in that first role?
How I wanted to get in is pitching got a lot better, and I wasn't keeping up with it with my own bat, so I had to kind of figure something else out. I've wanted to coach since I was a young kid. I mean, I've been doing instruction with kids since I was probably 15 or 16 years old, and then I got super lucky to be able to start off at Arizona State, which is one of the most prestigious baseball brands, ever in college baseball. And my head coach at Indiana got the job there, and I got super lucky that he had a spot come open, and I was in between still playing. I had some professional baseball offers or not, and I made that decision. So it was a good one, and I'm forever, Tracy Smith, he's the head coach at Michigan now. I'm forever grateful to him just trusting me as someone who had really never done it. He'll tell you right now, he didn't know if I could coach. He just thought I could, and he really just gave me that opportunity, and I was able to, walk into some pretty good players and have some pretty good success there.
What was the time frame of when you went out there for a few days to try and sell yourself to him, and how that all, like, what was like the time of year and how that fit into where you were playing?
I went out in March, and I was deciding whether I was going to go play indie ball. It started in like May, I believe. I think a month later, April. I can't remember. But he was going to let me know kind of. I went there, and by the time I left, he was going to let me know something after the season, and You know, he got the call, and I don't know what the day of the week was, but if I didn't get that call, I was going back to play on that Monday. I was just going to join the season a month late, so it was pretty exciting. I mean, I kept up with ASU that whole year. I'd send him little notes on what I thought about certain players or game situations, and I was just lucky I had that kind of relationship with him where I could send him those texts and he would go back and forth, and I'd just give him my advice on. I watched every single game of theirs and kind of just bared down on him and tried to learn the players and gave him my thoughts, and it's something he appreciated. And there was actually times where he would text me if I didn't text him first, just about what I thought about the game. So I got lucky.
Did you have a job in between that whole few months that you were?
Yeah, I did. I was doing I've back home did hitting instruction about 35, 40 hours a week. So I've worked with every type of kid or young softball player from 7 all the way to, you know, professional big leagues. So I was doing that around the clock. So it was a challenging job. I mean, for sure, you get a lot of different hitters, but it actually helped me learn. I feel like I've seen just about everything at this point, and you just I really learned in that whole process just how to communicate with just different people. It was really more of a people job than a hitting job.
How did that relationship lead to your coaching staff here? What did you take from that in building your staff?
You just got to care about the players, I think, more than yourself, and I think that should go without saying in baseball. And you got to understand, for each player, while you want them to win and they want to win for you, your university, your team, they have their own goals and aspirations too, and that's something I'll never forget. Because I remember when I was a player in college, like, it was just the dream to play professional baseball. I always wanted to win, but it's pretty close. Like, these guys have stuff too, so it's about creating that balance and showing them we want that for you too. But, you know, when the team goals are met, the individual goals will be met too. So just finding that balance and understanding that this is everything to them, and it's not just a job, right? This is a lifetime commitment and relationships. And I've said it before, I take so much pride in the relationships I have with my guys at ASU and guys I hit with back at the barn, and still having that, and just get to know them on a deeper level and understand your dreams are my dreams too, and we can all do this together.
Is it an easy sell as opposed to minor league, which is maybe development based, that college is still wins and losses and
No doubt.
fire inside you and the players?
Yeah.
It's focused a different way.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's no statistically you can prove. I mean, development in college baseball. If you look at Major League Baseball, there's more players in MLB that went to college. So you're selling that, and you're selling here specifically. You're selling A&M. You're selling the facilities. You're selling the nutrition. You're selling the wait staff. You're selling the education. You're selling the atmosphere. I feel like we have so much more to offer than minor league baseball does, and you can get on that path. It's just you're taking a different route, and we believe if you come here, you want to enter professional baseball as the best possible amateur player you can be. So if you're a high school kid and you want to sign, they better pay you for what? You're going to be better in 3 years than you are now? They all say, yeah, they better pay you for that. And if they don't, come here and we'll make them. It's kind of like the motto, and you'll come and you'll walk out with an unbelievable degree, and you'll make memories that'll last you a lifetime.
With those expectations, Jace is going to a lot of eyeballs and a lot of hype this season. How have you seen him kind of handle this offseason and preseason heading into this year? He's
been the same. Jace is Jace. Like, he hasn't changed how he acts, how he goes about his business, and he has his flaws, and those flaws are still there. He's not doing anything different. He also has the greatness and the person and personality he is. So he's handled it good, and baseball's tough either way. So I mean, outside expectations are the same with the team. He's kind of block out the noise and go about your day to day. And I think he's done a really good job of that. And we'll help him along the way. And it helps too. Like, you're around a lot of other good players. So it's other good players that have the same. They might not be high. The accolades aren't as high, but they don't have any less expectations for themselves. So he gets to be around a lot of like-minded people. And we as coaches have the same expectations for him as we, who we perceive to be the last man on the roster as far as their day-to-day business, how they act as a teammate, how they conduct themselves in the community around people, and he's done an amazing job at that. I mean, I think anyone would say Jace goes out of his way to be a good guy, and we appreciate that, and he just happens to be an extremely talented player.
What went into creating the inaugural first pitch game on the 8th, and how involved in that process were you?
Yeah, I was involved a lot, and then it was Jason Hutchins. I just want to do something a little bit different. I think whenever you do, banquets are cool, but you don't get to come see your kid play. And also what it does is if you're a former player, I mean, I guess most of them don't want to go sit at a banquet and hear about the other team. They'd rather come out, hang out with their buddies, kind of make it a reunion. They get a hit on the field. They get to see some baseball, plus they get to see the team announce. And we'll do a lot of the similar stuff we did banquet style, but it's really a way just to get more former players back and, you know, get them involved in the program more, which is something that I know is really important to Hutch and was really important to me. Like, I didn't play here, obviously, and I want those guys to feel like I did and that I'm a part of it and believe in it and love it as much as they did. So it was really a way to get them back around baseball instead of sitting at a table.
Whether it be first pitch game related or not, what have the returns from the former players been about your hire and since you've been here?
They've been nothing but great to me. Nothing but great to me. I was, you remember Alex Wilson who pitched here? I was in a wedding with that guy like 12 years ago. It's just kind of funny that we kind of back around and we've become, you know, friends with kids now, and he's helped me out a lot with those guys. And then Tyler Naquin's around, and guys like that. They've been great to me. I mean, we all share a love of A&M and baseball, so it's been super easy. And like most guys that play baseball at Texas A&M, they're pretty good dudes to hang around.
What has Troy brought to the program so far?
He's great. He's great. I mean, he's obviously learning and he's more observing, and just whenever you go from, you know, he's technically whatever his title is, he's Troy. Like, I get a ton of advice from him on the catching side and what we need to do with those guys, with what he's allowed to do, and it's been good. I mean, that transition, I know what he's going through at times, but he never shows it because I've been in that transition of you stop playing and you go into coaching. So he's been great. I love having him around. He's the same guy he was as a player, just super even keel, and yeah, it's huge for us and the guys just to be able to have him around and kind of asking questions about what it's like. And I mean, the guy, he wore number 12 for a reason, coming in here as a first-year guy. So it's just a A-plus person that, you know, I think knows some baseball stuff too. And his knowledge is awesome.
Like you kind of mentioned, it's a pretty similar story and how he decided to hang it up and get into coaching as you, right?
A little bit, yeah. I remember when I got the job, he wanted to come and be a part of the program, and it was the middle of the summer, so I made him wait. I didn't really tell him he could come out for like a month and a half because I wanted him to be sure. I didn't want to. I knew at that moment, in like recruiting, if I put the pressure on him, he would have committed like that. But I wanted him to have the time to really make sure he was making the right decision. And he had fallen into a role in professional baseball where he was, you know, backup catcher and was just kind of sitting there studying, learning the game. And I called him, and he's like, "Mike, I've had 5 at-bats since the last time we talked. Like, I'm sure." So, I mean, from there we, you know, had him leave. He left the White Sox the right way. Like, I know a lot of people in that organization. He let him know he's super professional, and that's just who Troy is. So he's handled it well, and I believe if you ask him, he's made the right decision.
As you continue your first year as a head coach, just what have been maybe some of the biggest lessons or pieces of advice that you've held on to and implemented for yourself in your own program from coaches that you have played under or learned under from the past that you really hold on to?
I think the biggest thing is just time management, and my calendar is my best friend, and keeping everything in that and balancing that with, you know, not only, I'm not sure what the other coaches in SEC are like, but I got 3 little kids at home, and so just my calendar is my best friend and managing my time. And I've found, and I feel like I've done a good job at it, and I'm going to continue to get better, but when you can manage your time well, when you're in the time and whatever you're supposed to do, you can give max effort and you're not thinking about other things. But still growing in that regard, like most people. Some days you wake up feeling better than you did the day before, but just that's the biggest thing I've learned throughout is like you got to be present in every moment, and the best way to be present is to manage your time correctly.
And specifically to that last year of independent ball, just how impactful was that year in particular to how your journey's kind of taken hold?
I had a blast playing that last year because in minor leagues there's no sense of team. In a way, it's not as bad as what people make it sound, but it's just you win, it seems the same, you lose, it seems the same. But in independent ball, it's all about winning. And I played for a really cool guy named Mike Pinto who was super into it. And I was 27 at the time. Married and had a son, and I was getting to play with like some of these 21, 22-year-olds. So it was just cool to be in the locker room with them, and just you're playing to win. It was pretty, like, independent baseball is pretty cutthroat. Like, they release guys way frequently more than minor league. So it was just fun to be. I just felt like part of a team, and I personally, when I was in the minor leagues, I was as selfish as the next guy. But when I got into indie ball, I was like, you know what, let's do this a little bit different. And I think it just was a really cool way to go out and kind of recenter and get my love back for playing, and then like transition into coaching.
Coach, 3/4 of this team has already been a college baseball player. when you went to school, it was probably maybe 50-50 with the freshman group that
Yeah.
hadn't played. Do you like that direction, and is that ratio something when they reduce scholarships in the near future that you're going to try to stay at that same level?
It's really a balance and what you need year to year. Obviously, you'd ask every coach in America, you want to have an older team, but you got to have a foundation and build for guys to get older, which that's changed with the portal. I've gotten asked that before, and I don't really have an answer. I think it's whatever your need is. I really like our class we have coming in next year. I think it's like another class that can kind of catapult and be here for 2 to 3 years, and then supplement with the portal and other freshmen. So yeah, you'd always love to have an older team just because of experience, but at the same time, you got to build your program with, LaViolette was once a freshman here, Grahovic, Sorrell, Sawyer Farr, TK, those guys are really good freshmen, Ryan Prager. So you got to build from underneath, and then now you're able to supplement. So my answer is I don't really have one, but I'd always love to be old, but at the same time, you got to balance that with building for the future.
And probably Hayden Schott's the last oldest guy you're ever going to have.
He's probably going to be the oldest player I ever coached. So.
What's the pitching competition like right now? Kind of what point in the process are you in, finding out, what a rotation would look like?
I'd say, we have our preconceived notions from, I put a lot of emphasis on past performance. Like if you have skin in the game or equity in the program and you've performed in games, that gives you a little slack. And that's on the offensive side too. It gives you a little more slack in the fall and spring. And I think we've got a couple guys that have done that and did well in the fall. And then I think we're close. We got a lot of right-handed relief pitchers that are all really good. We have a lot of them, so they're going to be in constant competition and fighting and battling for those innings. And that's new guys, that's old guys, and that's guys that you might not have seen a lot last year that are just a year older and a year better, and they've really taken to JK. So it's we kind of got an idea. I think on the pitching side, I feel like we got a lot of good problems to have just because I like the depth. Now it's going to be about, here in the spring and these first few weeks kind of defining what roles are, but at the same time, being able to pitch in any role, just being a ball player, and that's on the position player side too. Like if I tell you to go play left, just be a ball player. So close, but I don't know if we'll, get there here in the next few days. It's going to take a little bit.
You look back at opening press conference, how does the excitement level compare, I guess, from that moment to, hitting the ground running in a few weeks?
It's definitely different because I was, during that whole day, it was pretty tough to be off my phone for 2 hours just because we were in the portal and recruiting guys, and it was a fun time. Obviously, there's some stress involved and things like that, but it was we were moving really fast, and things were coming from all different directions, and it was literally always something going on. To now, you can kind of control that a little bit. It's just more excitement to play, and the fact that we're close and we've gotten to this point is really cool. I think we as a staff and as a team and as an organization just did a really good job of holding everything together and adding not just pieces but the correct pieces, and as far as like the people standpoint, from coaching staff members that came in to transfers. I like where we're at, and I'm just super proud of everyone's hard work they put in. Like everyone worked super hard this summer to get us to this point. Like a lot of people spent time away from their families or had to, leave on a whim to come up to the field and help me with something, or we had a last-minute visit. And it's all for, you do all this so you get to play baseball, and we're almost there. So it's, I'm just really proud of everyone, just every single person in this building has done an unbelievable job to get us to this point. Now we're almost there, and that's the fun part. You get to go play ball.